Tyson Foerster sheds his non-contact jersey for the first time at Flyers training camp, and battles for open roster spots are heating up in week 2 of training camp. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports and PHLY Flyers, and these are your Flyers post-practice notes. So as noted, for the first time at camp, Tyson Foerster was not wearing a purple or a maroon jersey signifying non-contact. He was in a normal jersey today. He practiced in full for the first time since the start of camp last week. Now, it's worth noting this was always the plan. When we spoke with Danny Briere last week, he mentioned that the expectation was Tyson Foerster would remove the non-contact jersey and be practicing in full within the first week of camp. Well, camp started last Thursday. Today's Tuesday. It's been that 1 week, basically, and Tyson Foerster has apparently been fully cleared to take contact. And he certainly did take contact. He hasn't been shying away from taking hits, even with the non-contact jersey on. Today, he took a big hit at center ice, got up immediately, and got out to the cheers of his teammates, who are clearly happy to see Tyson Foerster continuing to make progress to be ready for Game 1 of the regular season. Now, it's a big year for Tyson Foerster. He did score 25 goals last year. It was his highest goal total of his career, and he did that mostly on the strength of a really strong finish. He was especially effective in the wake of John Tortorella getting let go as head coach. So now Foerster's trying to build off that, maybe break 30 this year, maybe establish himself as one of the true best young forwards on this team. And according to a new head coach, Rick Tocchet, Tyson Foerster earned himself a pretty impressive fan this summer at World Championships, one Sidney Crosby.
Over the World Championships, Sidney Crosby called me and told me that he loved him. You know, just his off the ice and a sponge and stuff like that. So when you hear that from one of the best players, that a guy on your team he really likes, he even said that about Noah Cates, so pretty good endorsement.
But the players who hit the ice today, in addition to Tyson Foerster, some of them were just practicing normally, but some were preparing for the second preseason game up in Montreal Tuesday night. There was a game group, and there are quite a few players in that game group who are battling for a spot on the main roster. Bubble players, prospects, namely Jet Luchenko, Alex Bump, Helge Grans. Now, this is a big game in particular, I would say, for Alex Bump. It's not that he's been bad to start camp, but he hasn't quite opened eyes to the degree that I think many, including myself, expected him to do. He's been good, he's been okay, but he hasn't been dominant. This is his first game action against NHLers in a formal preseason game. This is his time to show that he's NHL ready right now. We did speak to Alex Bump today after the morning skate before they headed up to Montreal, and he made it clear he does not feel overwhelmed with his first camp. He said he actually expected the pace in practices to be faster, practicing alongside NHLers in his first true NHL camp. He also made a point to say that playing up at the Bell Center, not that big of a deal to him, at least in comparison to when he makes his true NHL debut, which is a comment that I'm sure will go over real well with proud Montreal Canadiens fans.
You'll be playing in a pretty cool building up in Montreal that I think a lot of kids like to play. Is this kind of a big moment for you?
Not really. I'd say the bigger moments would be the real season debut, but yeah, I mean, just do what I can do, control what I control. Don't try and do too much, otherwise I'll look silly, I guess. So.
Grans is also aiming to earn a spot out of camp, and there's a clear spot available for him, given the fact that Rasmus Ristolainen will not be ready for the start of the season. He could miss up to the first 2 months of the season. So there's a spot on the right side of that decor for Game 1 that Helge Grans, as a righty shot, is a logical person to fill. That said, there are other players battling for that spot. Rick Tocchet today mentioned he was impressed with Adam Ginning, both in practices and the game that Ginning played on Sunday against the New York Islanders. There's also the veterans Noah Juleson, who I don't think has been that impressive so far, but it's early. Andrae's in the mix, but I would say Grans, at least on paper, checks the most boxes for the Flyers in terms of trying to replace Ristolainen while he's out. As I mentioned, like Ristolainen, Helge Grans is a righty shot. Rick Tocchet seems to like the idea, if possible, of having lefty-righty pairs throughout his decor. So there's that. Grans is also big. He's 6'3", not quite as big as Ristolainen, but he does bring that size to the table in a way that, say, someone like Andrae, who's definitely on the smaller side, does not. The big thing that Grans doesn't bring to the table that Ristolainen obviously does, the physicality. Grans is big, and he can play physical, but he probably doesn't play as physical as he probably should, given his size and given his physical attributes. And that's something that Grans knows. Grans knows that he needs to play more physical. It's something that the organization's been talking to him about. And it's not even just that he wants to do it to replace Ristolainen. He wants to do it because playing more physical, as he admitted today, is just going to make him a better all-around player.
I think I need to play my game, but my game to get better, I do need a little bit more physicality out there. So in both ways, yeah, I need to play harder to play better, I guess.
As for the players who are not preparing to play in Tuesday night's game, there was one very interesting line they ran. It was Matvei Michkov, Trevor Zegras, and Travis Konechny. Now, not a lot of defense on that line, to be sure, but a lot of offensive skill. You wonder if that could be a line, maybe not one that they're going to use to start games, but hey, if the Flyers are down a goal in the third period, 2 goals in the third period, you go high octane, you stack that first line with all the best offensive talents, and you see if they can bring you back. It was exciting to watch today in the practices, in the line rushes. I'm not going to say there's chemistry there, but you can see the talent. It pops. You also saw Tyson Foerster again, wearing a normal jersey, back with Noah Cates, his usual center from last year on that very effective line. Bobby Brink is playing in the Tuesday game, so he wasn't in the non-game group, but he was replaced, at least temporarily, by another talented small forward in the form of Denver Barkey. It was a Barkey, Cates, Foerster line. It's an interesting one. I think Brink still has the leg up getting that spot to start the year, but hey, Denver Barkey, he can do a lot of the things that Bobby Brink does, maybe even more physical than Brink. As for the decor, the one pair that jumped out at me, Yegor Zamula, Jamie Drysdale. I do think Drysdale's most likely going to start the year with Nick Seeler, but Zamula's another option as well. And clearly they wanted to take a look at that. We'll see if that sticks for the remainder of camp. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports. These have been your Flyers post-practice notes. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.